Hello everyone, welcome to the Hampton Law Firm. Are you facing an aggravated assault deadly weapon charge in Texas? Today I want to talk about exactly that subject, aggravated assault deadly weapon. And what can you do to fight the case? You want to make sure that you have a clear plan of action so that you can make sure you stay out of jail and you can get this arrest removed from your record. Now don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great content just like you're hearing today. So hit that subscribe button right down here below. And today, here's what we're going to get into. I'm going to get into the ins and outs of aggravated assault deadly weapon. And if you wait around to the end of this video, I'll also give you a free ebook, What to Do If You've Been Charged with a Crime in Texas. All right, let's jump right in. Aggravated assault deadly weapon. What can I do to beat the case? Well, before we get into the specific tactics of what can be done to beat the charge, let's first break down aggravated assault deadly weapon by what type of charge it is, and let's identify specifically what must be proven. Now, aggravated assault deadly weapon in Texas is a second-degree felony punishable by anywhere between 2 up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Now, that's what the charge is, but let's talk about what the state of Texas must prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, they have to prove one of these three things. There's three different ways that you can look at aggravated assault deadly weapon in Texas. Number one, they must either prove, the first option is they have to prove aggravated assault that caused serious bodily injury. Now, what does that mean? Well, in that situation, they would be alleging that you allegedly assaulted someone and the action caused this person to suffer serious bodily injury. What is defined as serious bodily injury? Well, the code actually explains it. The law says that they would have had to have suffered a permanent loss or protracted loss of use of a bodily, basically of some part of their body, whether it's an organ of their body, some member of their body, arms, legs, something along those lines. And I'll give you an example of that. Here's some examples of aggravated assault, serious bodily injury. Let's say there's a fight that takes place and someone ends up permanently crippled, okay? What about another situation where someone suffers a traumatic brain injury as a result of it? Let's say someone gets bashed in the head with a bat and they're never able to be quite the same as they were because of the traumatic brain injury. It could be someone loses an eye. It could be someone has a limp for the rest of their life. They're not able to use their arm. You get what I'm saying. That's an example of an aggravated assault, serious bodily injury. That's the first way. Number two is aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Now, if the police in this situation, they would be claiming that you used a weapon, a deadly weapon of some sort, to place someone in fear of serious bodily injury or death, and it led to their injury in some way. Okay, so the best example of this is someone pulls out a gun and shoots someone 5 or 6 times. That's an aggravated assault that's an aggravated assault deadly weapon. Or someone gets in a fight and they pull out a knife and they knife someone. That's another example of that. So what is a deadly weapon though? Let's talk about that. Here's a definition of that. What is a deadly weapon? Well, the reality of what a deadly weapon is, it can be anything. And what I mean by that is if I take this pen right here and I decide I'm going to use this pen to try to stab out someone's eye, right, and cause them serious bodily injury, it could be a deadly weapon. So really a deadly weapon is anything that can be used with the intention to cause serious bodily injury or death. Now you don't see that happen very often, but I'll give you an example. Most people don't think right out of the gate about a car, but a car can be a deadly weapon. If a car is used to try to run over someone, absolutely, that can be a deadly weapon. But the more common examples of deadly weapons are knives and guns. So that gives you a little bit of a definition. That's the second point, is aggravated assault deadly weapon. And then the third point is the one that we really are going to spend a few more minutes on, and it's aggravated assault by threat. So in this situation, if you are just holding a deadly weapon, but the alleged victim believes in the way that you held that weapon and the exchange of words that you had, they feel like they were in fear of serious bodily injury or death, you can be charged with aggravated assault by threat just because you had the weapon. Now, imagine this example can get a little crazy. I'm going to give you some examples of cases that I've dealt with in the past. One is just a simple one where you're there and someone is acting crazy and coming at you, and you look to defend yourself. Not that you're going to pull out the gun and shoot someone, but you pull it out to let them know, hey buddy, I mean business, you better back off. Well, what happens? That guy calls the police. The police come out there and see that you have a gun, CHL holder or not. You got the other guy claiming he was afraid you were going to use it. You could end up being arrested. That's one example. The other example is a road rage example where there's two incidents where two people are mad at each other. One guy gets out and starts to charge the other guy, and he just pulls out the weapon, doesn't point it at him, but just displays it to try to get him back off. That's another example of when it can happen. But I want to remind you, there can be many reasons why the person that's making the claim that they felt threatened, why they might not be credible. I've seen this happen in divorce situations. A husband or a wife knows they're leaving their spouse, and they decide to use an example like this as a way to gain some sort of maneuvering ability in their divorce proceedings. You can also have it that maybe they were afraid that when the police came out, they didn't want to get in trouble, so they wanted to claim they were in fear for their life so that they wouldn't be arrested. You can also have another one, and I hate to say this, but this does happen. Someone who wants to obtain citizenship within the United States will sometimes say, in a situation like this, that they have now become the victim of a violent crime so that they may be able to gain favor in that regard. There's all kinds of reasons why people may say this, but it's important to look at people's motives and some reasoning behind that. Or maybe they've done this sort of thing in the past. These are all important things to look at. So does their story, though, ask yourself, and this is what your attorney needs to be doing, does their story make sense compared to the rest of the facts and the remaining evidence? Now, as you can see, there can be instances where you can be charged with an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and there'd be very little evidence to really support that anything took place. I mean, imagine on the threat option, no one was even hurt. There's no one hurt at all. So because this charge of aggravated assault deadly weapon is a felony, it's extremely important that you are aggressive with your defense early in the process. And the reason why is some of these points that I'm making can be taken, they can be used, presented in a packet to the grand jury. Remember that grand jury is a panel of 12 citizens that hears every felony case in Texas. And because an aggravated assault deadly weapon is a felony, it's possible that your information, you're not only mitigating, but potentially exculpatory, maybe evidence that shows you didn't do anything wrong. That evidence can be presented to the grand jury so that your case may be able to be no-billed, so that you can be exonerated. So, if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to contact the Hampton Law Firm at 817-877-5200. I hope you found this video to be helpful. Let me give you what I promised you if you waited around to the end of this video. Click on the link right down here below, and I'll be happy to send you a free ebook, What to Do If You Have Been Charged with a Crime in Texas. Thanks for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you on our next video. Take care.